Where's the fucking video?
It's a throwback.
So what? What are we doing? This is an intro. We'd still play the video.
You always tell me not to do the intro video.
God, no, we do a video. We still do we always do the video. We always do the video. What is it? You changing the rules? I'm playing the video. What is it? We got a guest on? You won't play the video? I'm playing the video.
Lock him up, turn on the Little Mermaid, give him a Baby Ruth, he's be fine.
Jiminy Christmas.
In my ass.
I just banged your wife?
Find me the name of this garbage show again that I'm on.
Total non-stop impact.
My name's John, capital letter E, period, Bravo, and you're listening to the Total Non-Stop Impact Podcast.
This is the real Impact Wrestling World Champion, Big Michael Elgin, and you're listening to Total Non-Stop Impact.
This is the jaw-jacking Tuesday Night Impact, and his mother called him son because he shines like one. Mocha Skin Manimal, Rohit Raju, and you are watching Total Non-Stop Impact.
This is Taya La Güera Loca, and you are listening to Total Non-Stop Impact.
The Walking Weapon, Josh Alexander, and you're listening to Total Non-Stop Impact.
We are the Rascals, and you are listening to Total
Non-Stop
Impact Podcast, baby.
Woo! And what you're really listening to is Total Non-Stop Impact. Don't you dare miss a lesson. Oh, yeah, 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 yeah.
What's up, Impact Wrestling? Let's make some noise!
Sitting here, you guys got a 15-minute intro of putting yourselves over while I'm sitting here and watching J-Bone and Kalon and your 50. I never saw a 15-minute intro of three guys putting themselves over.
This is the good stuff.
Do you see, J-Bone? This is why we need the intro. That's why I need an intro on every show. We're putting ourselves over for 15 minutes. That's the whole point. I can't botched it. You know, when Kyle hears this is your ass. But anyway, welcome back, everybody. Total Non-Stop Impact Talk for Impact fans, featured right here on the TNI Network. This is the Throwback Show, NWA-TNA number 30. Today, we're joined by a very special guest. A very, very special guest. He's a dear friend. He is a legend in his own right, and he's probably been on more episodes of Impact than any other talent consistently in the last, I don't know how many years, but I think you've been on more episodes of Impact than some people have. The front row legend himself, Bill Gardner's here, everybody. Bill, what's happening?
Hey, Trey and J-Bone. Thanks for having me on. Appreciate it.
Thank you for coming on, man. Is that a Yingling? We're being asked in the chat. Is that a Yingling?
Oh, just for Jay New, it is a Yingling.
It is a Yingling. Look at that. Now, Jay,
I thought about going with one of these guys, but then I decided to go with the Yingling.
Is that
wait to the camera so I can see? Because I never seen that before.
I'm more interested in the James Storm beer he's got there.
There we go. There we go. Oh, that's pretty. That's pretty. All right, so now I know what it looks like when I go look for it, because I bet you any money it's not around here.
Now let me see. I got to see the other one, but I got to see. I look like a James Storm.
That is a
look at
the
that
old James Storm model.
Sorry about your damn luck brew, huh?
Yes.
Nice. Now is that an empty bottle? Is that already?
That is an empty bottle. Yeah, that was a one I finished off at a taping.
Nice, very nice. All right, cool, man. Well, Bill, thank you for joining us. Now, how about this? You're known. We know you're known. People know you. Yeah, you're the man. They see every episode. For the one guy in the room who maybe doesn't know you, let's go ahead and just give us a little intro, who you are, what you're doing here, where they might have seen you, kind of thing.
All right. So, you probably see me on Impact, usually in the front row, pretty much always in the front row.
Always.
Pretty much, you maybe didn't notice me years ago because I was just mixed into the crowd. But starting at when they were at the Bethlehem Sands doing tapings, I had won an auction for EC3's face jacket that he had Jeff Hardy wear. So I didn't even know it, but I thought they were just gonna bring it to me there and take it home. But they said, "Oh, put it on, take some pictures." And then once I did, everybody wanted me to wear it all day. So I wound up wearing it in the crowd. Then they did more shows, and I kept wearing it. So then that kind of became a little thing, a little calling card, if you will. So wound up doing that. But before that, been to shows down at the back during like the early Hogan era, down at the Impact Zone. Occasionally they were near Philly, like when Bound for Glory was in Philly, did things like that. Yeah. Did when they were down in North Carolina. So I went to some of those. But yeah, probably not until I started wearing the suit would people start really noticing me. And then obviously some changes over time.
Now, hey, I gotta read this comment before I ask you the next question here. Ingrid, Ingrid, asking when you're going to have a match with Moose to find out who's the real Mr. Impact Wrestling.
Well, maybe now he's more Mr. TNA, so maybe he's willing to subside. But I'll say I'm the Mr. Impact of fans. He's the Mr. Impact of the wrestling.
There you go. Bill, when was your first TNA or Impact show? Let's get that out there.
I know we were talking about a while back. I had to go back when they played the ECW arena. It was more of a joint show back then. It wasn't a TNA only show, but it was their first show back there because I was still going to all the shows at that building. So technically it's that. I guess back in maybe 2010, I was down at the Impact Zone for the first time in Orlando. Okay. So that was probably like my next. But then they had done, I think, another show as TNA back at the arena before that. So so a couple mixed in there over the years.
Very cool. Now I met you in Orlando in 2016, Slamversary weekend, and then the first words I said to you were, "Wait a minute, you're the EC3 jacket guy."
That's right. Because as is kind of the normal, especially down there in the heat, but almost always normal, I don't wear it until we're ready to go into a venue. So like outside, you just recognize my face, luckily.
That's right. No, it was great. Listen, and I met Bill 4 years ago. We've been to several shows together since. I consider him a great buddy, and he's a wonderful guy. So if you guys are ever at a show, once shows are back, absolutely go over there and say hello to Bill. He's always welcoming to everybody who comes up to him to tap him on the shoulder. Like, I've seen you before.
and we broke bread in Chicago last year. That was first time.
The first pizza party.
Pizza bread, pizza dipped tomato sauce bread,
pizza casserole, as all of our lovely friends and chatters love to call it. Yeah.
Very nice time though. No, Bill, it's been great. So thank you for coming on, guys. We're going to talk NWA-TNA number 30. This was a great show. Did you watch this originally, Bill? Were you watching these back on Wednesdays?
I was watching them, not as you were watching them every week. I can't admit that. I can't say that I watched them every week. I like to think I watched the majority of them, but definitely going back through these, I remember parts of them, but not nearly. So like even like with this one, we'll go over it, but it was a lot of parts. I think I remembered maybe 2 or 3 segments from this originally. So it was a nice flashback.
It's a wild time. It's a wild time to live through.
Oh yeah.
It's there is some wacky stuff going on. Jay, I didn't ask you how you're doing though. You want to share a memory with Bill? You know, you guys met in Chicago over BFG weekend.
Yeah, that was a blast. I mean, that was my first ever Impact Wrestling event ever, was All Glory and then Bound for Glory. And then in between doing the pizza party, you know, in Chicago. And that was just, that whole weekend was just like a little mini adventure and literally running all over Chicago, just with Whoopsie, you know, trying to get to this place, that place, crashing at your pad Trent. That was just absolutely crazy, like, between 2 to 3 days.
No, definitely a fun time, man. Definitely a lot of fun. Well,
I still remember driving back with some pizza in the trunk of my car on the 11-hour drive back from Chicago.
Did you stop and eat it? Did you stop off and have some, or what'd you do?
No, by the time, because I drove through the night and I got to work the next morning, it was lunch at the office.
It was.
Jiminy Christmas. You drove that? Wow.
He drove he left after Bound for Glory, right? You left straight to go home?
Yeah, straight after.
And you went right to work from what I remember.
Right to work.
That's a long night.
Maniac. He's done it before. That wasn't the first time he's done that. He's done that for other road trips, right, Billy? You've gone right to work.
Down in Nashville, Canada, all the Canada trips. Only like Vegas and Florida.
Unbelievable. No, I remember you did it. Yeah, you did it in Nashville. You left after homecoming, and you were like, "I'm going right to work tomorrow." So that's awesome, man. Well, let's do it, guys. Let's jump into it. This was a wild episode. NWA-TNA number 30 from the Nashville Asylum, January 29th, 2003. What's up, Jay? You're shaking your finger at me.
We should address something first. There's a lot. Well, there's two things. There's two things.
Yeah.
There's one thing that the people in the chat are talking about and literally breaking news within the last half hour. Mm-hmm. And then there's also something that I think we should share with all our viewers and listeners.
Well, let's we should share. I wish Kyle was on to share that, but we'll share that too. Let's go in with everybody's buzzing about the one thing. Let's talk about that, and we'll get into more detail on the main show too. Though, let's talk about it. Go ahead, J-Bone.
We'll do a little share screener-rooney here.
All right. Well, news broke, guys. News broke here, and this is Impact posted on the site. Okay, I got sent a screenshot from some guys in the AW group.
PW Insider, broke it, but Impact literally just put it out minutes ago. Impact Wrestling has confirmed that it has terminated its relationship with Tessa Blanchard and stripped her of the Impact Wrestling World Championship. Folks, just when you thought the last 24 to 48 plus hours in the wrestling industry couldn't get any more turned on its head with all the controversy.
Yeah.
This happened.
Elephant in the room is out. It's crazy. And then with Elgin being in suspended status right now, you went from a 5-way at Slammiversary to now 3. What in the hell is going to happen, guys? What in the hell is going to happen? Bill, you got any predictions you want to throw at what's happening here?
Well, whatever I predicted it's long gone now, but I'd say based on what we have, Ace Austin.
Yeah, my thought was Ace too. You go with Ace, or my other.
Unless a surprise that gets entered into it, but who's there?
My guess is I'm going with Moose goes into that match.
There you go. That makes a lot of sense.
And Moose just maybe he fights for that unification, man, and he takes the whole deal. It couldn't be better for Moose, to be honest. That's a setup for a complete unification match right there. So I don't know, Jay, what do you think?
I'm gonna do a little shoot here.
All right.
And I've noticed something that's going on. I've noticed that Tessa Blanchard has time to do photo shoots.
Yeah.
So if she's got time to do photo shoots with her friends, and I'm not going to say her friends because I actually like her friends, but if she's got time to do photo shoots and earn money that way, where the hell's her head?
Yeah.
You know, I know there's a bigger picture here, and if you want to see the article on PW Insider, it's right at the top of their news page. Just look for the Impact Wrestling News, and it goes into a little more detail on the relationship that deteriorated. And then there was some rumors about that too. So take it for a grain of salt right now. I always have to believe all this stuff that comes out, you know, these half-truths and rumors about relationships and stuff. I'm sure the full truth will come out within the next, couple of months, depending on who's talking about what.
Yeah.
So, yeah, and it sucks because it feels like the Impact Wrestling Championship over the last, I'd say, year plus has had this curse on it.
It's a little snake bitten a little bit, I got to say. It's Cage with the injury. Tessa gets the whole racist thing pops right the day before she's winning it.
Aries was a little controversial.
Yeah, going back that way. I mean, the COVID thing happens. There's really no title. Aries. Johnny was probably the most solid champion we had in that whole mix.
I love Johnny. I don't care where he goes. I'm still going to watch him. It sucks that he left pretty soon afterwards. He didn't do much. He did a little comedy bit, and then he was out.
Yeah.
But
even before that, Alberto, before that, we've had a little bit of rocky road on the title. And Bill, I don't know about you, man, but I'm looking back now and I'm thinking, shit, we should have just taken the gamble with Moose at the time when everybody was ready for Moose to take.
Exactly. That's what I'm wearing today. I've been waiting it. I've never worn it. So this is the debut today. This is the Rebellion World Title jacket.
That's the one. That's the one.
So that's what I've been waiting for that title. I figured TNA title close enough at this point, but
at this point, hey, listen, you might get your wish, man. I think I'm going. My prediction, guys. Moose goes in. You get a unification, which is pretty awesome at the same time. And then listen, you put the rocket on Moose, and you put the rocket on somebody else, and you get it to Bound for Glory in 4 months. You can have yourself a nice little program, and who knows? By then we might have limited seating for fans. Bill might be in the front row rocking that vest again. So
waiting for the okay, the all clear.
Yeah. What are you gonna say, Jay? Before we jump into this review, what do you got?
Oh, I was just gonna say. I mean, no matter where our guest is here, you know he's going to be wearing it. Well, you know,
absolutely. All right, guys, let's jump in. NWA-TNA number 30. If we haven't told you enough times, Impact Plus, guys, $8 a month. You get 30 days free. We're watching them on there. I still got, guys. I have burned DVDs of all the original airings, and my buddy Dave, who I watched all these with, has the VHS still. We used to tape them every week, and he still got the VHS at his dad's house, sitting in piles. And he's like, dude, if you want them, you can have them. I'm like, I got them in 2 different ways already. I'm good. I have a DVD version of the original airings that include all the profanity that got bleeped out of this one. So, but let's jump in. January 29th, 2003. J-Bone, like I ask you every flashback, where were you on January 29th, 2003? Because I know where I was. I was on Dave's couch watching NWA-TNA for 10, pitching in my $5, eating Chinese food. I know where I was. Where were you if it wasn't a Chinese parking lot?
I was probably in trouble sleeping on the couch.
There we go. Fair enough. Bill, can you time warp to 2003 January? Where were you at in that time?
Let's see. In 2003, I was probably at my previous job because I was there, but then on a Wednesday night, probably up to no good is my guess.
All right. Bill can party, guys. I've hung out with him late nights in Orlando. We've had some fun in Orlando. This guy can go. We open up, guys. Raven is in the rafters cutting a very Raven promo. This is classic Raven promo here. What, we had the other piece of news. Sorry, Jay. How about we say it to the end? We hook it to the end. We're gonna announce it. It's better at the end, honestly. To be honest,
what they call a tease.
That's right.
I like it.
We got to drop the tease.
You gotta stay to the end, and trust me.
Yeah.
You want to stay till the end.
Just like the current Impact product. Got to stay to the end card.
That's right. Stay to the end.
Exactly. You got it, Bill. You got it.
Strap in for an hour. Get something to drink.
Do you like Bill or do you prefer William? I got to make that.
Bill's fine, but I respond to any variation of my name.
Okay, or like, hey, front row guy.
Front row broski. Just got to make sure because some people are real,
Nah, I'm not.
He's chill, man. He's super chill. All right, Raven's cutting this very, very Raven promo. Classic. I mean, it's like if you ever watch Raven in WCW, this was a very Raven-like promo. I loved it. And Jay's, I know, a big fan of his. He's targeting, he has the belt. Now, he stole the belt last week. He's targeting Jeff Jarrett, and he uses a very interesting one. The one quote that stuck out to me, he said, Jeff Jarrett, I'm going to urinate in your bone marrow. Did you guess?
Yes.
What in the fuck is he saying there? But this is the debut of the term welcome to Raven's Clockwork Orange House of Fun.
Yeah.
Now, which we remember turns into a match later on. That becomes a gimmick match. But anyway, Jeff Jarrett attacks him with a trash can. Heavy attack. Like he goes after him hard. This is what I like to call, I've been calling the show Superman shit by Jeff Jarrett. He puts, he's going hard. Russo interferes. Raven gets to put Jarrett through a table, gets the belt back, and then the faces run in a little too late. So, hot opening segment. You catch the crowd. The crowd's hot.
Yeah.
Now, how about this crowd? That is a hot crowd, Bill. Like these guys were. I almost feel like they couldn't wait for Raven to get to be there. Like they were.
Yeah, they were all. The pop was huge for Raven. I would say the Jarrett was it got down a little bit with Jarrett because like they wanted Raven and they were all about Raven as he says. Possession is 9/10 of the law.
It's true. It's true.
Just like Moose right now. It's 9/10 of the law.
That's right, man. That's right. Jay, what'd you think of this? This was a good opening. So this got everybody. This set the tone for the night. This was a perfect tone-setting opening segment. Here's what's going to be. We're going to have a wild 2 hours.
I wrote down a few notes. I wrote down a couple of the quotes. The one that you said says, "I will urinate I will urinate in your bone marrow.
I love it.
I will rip off your neck and use it as a latrine." I'm like, latrine?
He uses big words, man. He's a smart guy. He's a member of Mensa, for God's sake.
Well, like military people use the word latrine. He was actually in the military, wasn't he?
Raven, I was not. I don't think.
I thought he was like a Marine or something.
Was he? Maybe I'm wrong. If anybody can, I'm sure Critical Things would call me out in like 2 seconds on the chat. But it's like I think he might have. I don't know. Now I'm second guessing myself. Maybe he was.
Yeah, maybe when he was young, but Johnny Polo, Flamingo Kid days. I don't know. Maybe sometime before that.
He got in early into the business.
Yeah, he was a real early guy.
Yeah, I don't know when he would have been in, but
he's been around for. Yeah, he started out as a manager, and then it just went downhill from there. It just went crazy. But yeah, to quote the Raven, "Nevermore," the Clockwork, Orange, House of Pain. So he's
House of Fun. Yeah.
Or excuse me, House. I can't read my own writing. I need glasses, anyways. But yeah, House of Fun. So it's not, and someone even put that on a sign. I didn't write it down, but someone said it's not the TNA Asylum anymore. It's Raven's House of House of Fun. So yeah, this was huge. They were very excited for Raven as I am right now. As I was writing all these notes very quickly. But they still, as soon as that buzz wore off, they were super excited to see Jarrett get in there, and they just took over the show, top to bottom, front to back, inside and out. They were all over this thing. And that was the thing. It was the ultimate good versus evil. Jarrett's got to get his belt back, and you couldn't wait to see how it was going to happen. Yeah. Was it going to happen?
One thing to note for everybody, and I'm not to jump ahead, but pay attention to this feud because this is one of the best feuds in TNA Impact history. Like the way this is built, like this is the starting point. And what they do over the course of the next several weeks is like, because like it leads up to a match, clearly, right? The match ends up being the highest attended match in the Asylum and the biggest buy rate on Wednesday, that match. So watch how good this is built up. This is like really, really well done. And this is one of those things where you're like, man, if wrestling were to pay attention to these kind of details today, you can build these kind of like, that seething, like I can't wait to see this match frenzy. So pay attention to this one, guys, because watch how they build this one. We go to the back. Jorge Estrada with Goldylocks, and she's asking him about Mike Sanders offering him a job in Sports Entertainment Xtreme. He's like, if you've been having the year I've been having, maybe it's not a bad idea. What would you do? All right, Jorge Estrada. Guys, every week I say that I see it, and I'm seeing it more now that I'm rewatching it. I can see why he never got the breakout. He is not convincing it to me in any way. And I'm not trying to shit on the guy's ability, but it's just, man, he's not getting it done for me. He doesn't have that breakout. Bill, what do you think, man? Did you ever see any aside from TNA? Did you ever see Jorge Estrada anywhere else?
Not really. I know he kind of did make the rounds at some other places, but you're right. Like he didn't really make his mark. How much of that was on his own ability? How much was that what he was being given?
Yeah,
who knows? But he definitely didn't run with the ball for sure. No. From what we saw,
just saw like it didn't. It has not. Jay, we've been watching for 30 episodes. I just have not seen him he's been nearly. I mean, he was on quite a bit of these first 30. I just haven't seen him really like take the ball and run with it. Like he just hasn't connected. And I don't know. Obviously, some of it's material, but the rest of it's like, dude. Show me you're trying a little bit, that you actually are believing, right? What do you think?
You're talking about
Jorge.
You're talking about Estrada.
Yeah.
It's just it's awkward now. And the announcers even said that.
Yeah.
Because he's the last guy with the Elvis suit. I have and I'm gonna just just kayfabe this because we're watching this almost 20 years later.
Yeah.
But what did I say last week about Estrada?
I'm trying to remember. Remind us.
I said that fro is out of control. He needs to do something with it. He got a haircut.
He got a haircut.
18 years later, he heard me.
How does that happen?
That's crazy. I was like, oh my God, it happened.
You drive a DeLorean by chance? I'm just curious. I'm just wondering. But he did. I mean, I don't know, man. It was that awkward kind of acting. It had that clunkiness to it.
Yeah. Forced.
And that's one of the things I point out, about Current Pride. It's one of the things I want Alicia Edwards to be. She has that kind of choppy delivery sometimes, especially when it's a new feud. Like when she's warmed up in a feud, she's great. But when she's starting something new, she's kind of got that choppy delivery. I'm like, let it flow. Just be you. Channel the energy. Saying to Jorge Estrada, I'm like, this guy could have done something, but it's like you're not convincing me. So anyway, we'll move on from that. Because we're getting to his match in a second. There was a cool little ad in the middle here for Sports Entertainment Xtreme's t-shirt.
Oh, yeah. Great.
Only takeaway I had was there was a note in there that said, all proceeds go to Vince Russo. Buy now or Triple X will kill you. I'm like, damn, I know. When are they going to reissue that shirt on Pro Wrestling Tees, Jay? And J-Bone, you as a grown man and a father and a husband, can you walk around with a Sports Entertainment Xtreme t-shirt in Wholesome, Wisconsin? Discuss. Because I can't.
Not in this neighborhood. Not in this neighborhood. No, we live in not, I wouldn't say Richville, but it is a little more of a conservative neighborhood. And if I did that, and there's a lot of little kids around here that I think the parents would certainly start, throwing rakes and pitchforks at me if I did.
I wouldn't be too happy with you if you start walking around with that, Jay. I would imagine you're not going to be the most popular guy on the in the neighborhood if you start doing that. But
if we can go with the Ace Austin shirt, I think we can still bring that back. If Ace Austin's shirt could get there.
If I started doing that, they would probably, say something like, "What a scumbag!"
Look at that. He's actually using sound bites on the throwback show. So I don't get an intro, but I get the sound bites. The thing it's the opposite, Jay. We said no sound bites, but yes intro. I mean, I don't know how many of those beers you've had today, but we're gonna have a talk after the show goes off the air. I don't know about you, but
I don't know. If you're talking about day drinking, I don't know what you're talking about.
Jesus Christ! Cut his mic, Bill. Cut his mic. We get Jorge Estrada, Amazing Red. Nothing too crazy out of the match. It was probably Jorge's best match I'd say he's had so far. It was actually a really good match. Red takes the win, but the story on this one comes in afterwards. Where so Jorge loses again, guys. Mike Sanders is back in. Now, Bill, did you watch Mike Sanders in WCW?
I did. I did see him in WCW, yeah.
How good was this guy, man? How awesome was this guy in WCW? I just didn't get enough time to really,
AJ, a bunch of those guys at the end of WCW there, they really didn't get a chance really at the end because they kind of knew they were on borrowed time there at the end. But a lot of casualties there that really, who knows what could have happened if they were in the right moment.
He was so good. I just loved Mike. I thought he was such a great talent, and I was so glad that Impact brought, or TNA at the time brought him in, because the guy just had it. He's a natural, just knows how to deliver lines. Like the guy gets it, and tries to convince Jorge one more time. Come on, join us. Join Sports Entertainment Xtreme. It's best for you. He rejects him. Jorge's like, no. Well, you get rejected, and who shows up? The Disco Inferno himself, Glen Gilberti, jumps him with a chair and is now named the Director of Talent Development for Sports Entertainment Xtreme. I gotta love the titles. He's the Director of Talent Development. Sanders is the Director of Talent Acquisition. Jay, is that right?
Yeah, these titles that they're coming up, and then the one following just a couple minutes later is even better. It's like.
I love how formal it gets. It's like we're gonna be formal scumbags here.
Yeah, I was just gonna say we're formal scumbags. You took the words right out of my right out of my mouth. That's hilarious.
Now I did hear the crowd chanting "Disco sucks," but
yes,
I'm feeling more disco fever.
Yeah,
if you know what I mean.
I like it. I'm a disco guy.
I know you're a disco guy, Trey.
Well, no, J-Bone, that's your cue. I mean, yeah.
Christmas.
There we go. There we go. All right,
Cheers to the man on the board.
There you go. He's doing okay. He's doing all right. He's holding it down today.
Trying. I'm trying.
Didn't get an intro, but what the hell? Who am I to complain? But anyway, Bullet Bob is in the back with Goldylocks, and he's just talking. He's frustrated. He's losing it. He's like, God damn it, I got so many goddamn issues in this goddamn company. And Jeff Jarrett just barges in on him and just starts yelling at him. And Bullet's like, Jesus Christ, take it easy. And Killings, interestingly enough, Killings pulls him off. Killings is like, hey, what are you doing? Relax. Like, planting a little bit of a seed there. I don't know what that was, but Killings kind of forcefully like standing up for Bullet. You're kind of getting that Killings. You got kind of that little mini face turn for him at this point. So not sure what they were doing. We'll find out. I can't remember, to be honest. I'm just trying to. It felt like they were planting a bit of a seed on like where Ron's going with all this. So potentially, we get the match next though. David Flair and Jerry Lynn, kind of piggybacking off last week. The burlap sack. Bill, what's in the burlap sack? We don't know yet. What's in this?
We don't know. Something heavy sounds. It seems like something pretty heavy, but
I'm guessing it's one of Ric Flair's belts or something. It's one of his dad's.
It's got the shape. It seems like a solid object. So could definitely be a belt.
Jay, and everybody in the chats, you just take your guesses. What's in David Flair's burlap? If David Flair had a burlap sack, which he does, what's in the burlap sack? And if somebody doesn't answer with Tori Wilson, I don't know what this chat's even doing. Jay Bone?
We know he didn't steal Jake the Snake Roberts' boa. We know it's not that. It sounds like something metallic, something triangular-ish. I'm guessing it's like a big-ass Betty Crocker pan.
All right, Betty Crocker. He's making a casserole for the crew later. And I think I meant to say Miss Hancock, not Tori Wilson. He dated Miss Hancock, right? In WCW, like late real life. Stacy Keibler, wasn't that David Flair?
So.
I believe so. Okay, I'm gonna go Stacy Keibler. Somebody better say that though. But how about this? Jerry Lynn can wrestle anybody and make him look fantastic. Because David Flair wasn't known for his in-ring ability, right, Bill? Like he wasn't known to be a great in-ring guy.
No, but he looked okay here. He looked pretty good.
He did. He wasn't bad, and I think a lot of that's Jerry Lynn. I don't want to shit on David Toll. I mean, he still takes two to tango, but it's Jerry can wrestle anybody, man. And you've seen Jerry live, right, Bill? I mean, the guy is talk about a guy who can just go with anything in the ring, just have a great 5-star match out of him. Like the guy's awesome.
Yeah, you can't get much better as a worker than Jerry Lynn is, and obviously his ECW through TNA with Rob Van Dam, those matches were great. So, Jerry Lynn, just can't say a bad word about Jerry Lynn's performance.
Bill, did you go to Bound for Glory 11 in Philly?
Yes.
Were you there? So I was there.
I was second row, Bill, that show.
What? Now, how about this? Tell me if you agree. That match with RVD at that show, criminally underrated. How good
that was a show stealer, that match.
Totally. I think that was one of the probably the best match of the night, to be honest. I think they stole the show. And I'm like, these guys still they got it. Years later, they still got it. Unbelievable.
It was the right crowd to have that in front of. Obviously, a lot of ECW fans. So they brought it that night. That was definitely a show stealer.
That was a great. Jay, have you ever seen Bound for Glory 11? You need to watch that match. Him and Rob in 11 is great.
I've probably watched it. I couldn't tell you what the hell was on it. It's when you starts getting back that far, it gets pretty brutal. I can't remember what the hell I had.
There is an infamous main event, Jay. Infamous main event.
Very infamous main event on that one. One that caught us all by surprise. Shit, I didn't see that one coming. But yeah, I guess we shared that one too, Bill. I was there for that one. When I flew in for my brother's birthday present for me, so I was there for that. Nice. So this one got a little interesting. So Flair goes to use the burlap sack. Killings comes down because him and Jerry are kind of hanging out at this point. Comes down to stop it, and he, I want to say, quote unquote, accidentally hits Jerry with the burlap sack, and then David Flair wins. So probably one of David's biggest wins. You're setting up the tension here, setting up a little Jerry Lynn, David Flair, or Ron Killings tension here, which we're gonna get a little more of later on. I can already see that being a great feud. It already sounds great on paper. So I like the planting of the seeds. What do you got, Jay?
I love how there was a little bit of, I don't want to call it tension, but normally Tenay and Don West you know, they're pretty much in agreement about 99% of the time with what's going on. And, oh my God, did you see? Yeah, that was awesome. You know, they either both like or they both dislike what's happening. Don West was very, oh no, Truth would never do that to Lynn. And you know, Tenay, with everything that happened in this episode, he was a little more, for lack of better words, I'm going to say snarky. Okay. He was a little more, you know, he was a little more to himself in this episode. I mean, he really became an attraction in this, and we'll get to that in a little bit. But yeah, it's like the first time in 30 episodes that you actually had a bit of a disagreement, and not an argument by any means, just the fact that they weren't on the same page with this. And it's like, all right, I could clearly see that this was an accident. But if you get clobbered in the head and you don't know exactly what's going on and you're trying to win a match, and then you find out a couple seconds later who clocked you.
Yeah.
No explanation.
That's true.
That's upsetting.
I didn't like one thing that kind of threw me off was the way Killings kind of scurried up the ramp quick. You know, that kind of led you to think it's like, wait a minute, because he actually hits his buddy, but he runs off pretty fast. You know, and I was like, you didn't really stay there to explain yourself. And I'm like, oh, okay.
He ran off in frustration. If you look at his gestures, as he's like halfway up the ramp, he's like, he's frustrated. So he didn't want to stick around because he knew he was going to get it if he stuck around.
You got to face the music. You know, Jerry's a nice guy, but he could, you know, he's not going to take any shit either. So
you got to remember though, Truth is still pretty young in this business right now. I mean, he had a whole whopping cup of coffee in the WWE. He's already been champ here, but he's still, pardon the pun, a young buck in this brand, you know?
True. I mean, he's already had a title run at this point. He's had a solid run here, though. Let's not downplay that. He's had a good run here.
Oh, absolutely. But he still doesn't want to, you know, it's like he knows he made a mistake. He doesn't want to mess with a guy like Jerry Lynn. That's where this is all. That's that whole quick few seconds. If you blink, you catch the vibe.
Yeah. We get a sit down with Tenay. The Tenay sit downs are great. These are classic. But here's what I couldn't figure out, Bill. Why is he having a sit down with BG James? BG James is with Sports Entertainment Xtreme. Like, Tenay's extremely against them all the time, but it's like, I'm gonna have a sit down with you. Why is he gonna sit? So, let me set up what he does and give me your thoughts. He talks about what you're doing with Sports Entertainment Xtreme. Why are you there? Your father is tradition, and you know, why are you doing it? Your family's all rooted in tradition. He's like, no, he goes in on his day. So my dad's just jealous. I sold out more places than he ever did. My brothers are jealous. Blah, blah, blah. You hear Scott Armstrong. He's like, I ain't going to take this shit anymore. Screw you. Like, it's about family. They come in, Tenay cuts the interview. But I get what they're doing here, Bill. But it kind of didn't make sense for Tenay to be talking to him because it's like, you're completely against Sports Entertainment Xtreme all the time.
Well, that logic, obviously, we'll see at the end of the show, comes back for what's going to happen next week. This whole, why would you interview someone you're kind of feuding with or don't like or respect and things. But obviously, I know they're just kind of going with the storyline. But yeah, maybe even though Tenay is the sit down interview guy, maybe that wasn't the spot for him because of that. It kind of ignores a little bit what's going on. He's so anti Sports Entertainment Xtreme, but yet he's sitting down with the guy. Why don't he just sit down with Russo? What's next?
Exactly. You know, like you should be sitting down with somebody else if you want. You could have set up the interview with maybe Goldylocks because she's kind of neutral interview.
Yeah, that makes more sense there. But obviously, they're like I think Jay was right. Like we saw like the angry Tenay face all over the Twitch stream. I'm hoping because that we really saw that in this show. Like this is the first show that Don West. It's like I almost didn't really notice Don West much in this episode. No, like not saying something for Don West. Like true. That's like it's all Tenay.
That's a great.
It's like almost like a solo Tenay show, and Wes is saying little things here and there, but it's so Tenay heavy. This show, it's
big
his
time.
Vehicle.
For those watching on Twitch, by the way, if you go in your emotes, there's Tenay face emotes for us.
I want to see I want angry Mike Tenays.
Front row Bill wants it. Put it out, guys. But but it was interesting. You know, it kind of had the little shooty vibe to it. I didn't mind it for what the content was. So that, you know, and all in all, was interesting to watch. AMW hit the ring, guys, get the mic. They put over all their accomplishments to talk about how they were the team that never was supposed to be, and look what they've done. There we go. We got some Tenay face. Whoopsie, thank you very much. And thank you to Brian for putting those into our account. Big thank you. Skull 17 is Brian. He's the production guru at AAW, one of my dear friends, and he made that happen. So definitely thank you to Brian too. They talk about they get screwed and they want a rematch, you know. And now, Jay, I can't remember. I think he might have said it once before, but you hear James Storm. He busts out the line. Sorry about your damn luck.
Yeah. Yeah, I think he has used it maybe one time in the past.
There's the beer bottle too. It was one time in a backstage promo about, I want to say about 7 or 8 episodes ago, and we pointed it out. Jay, we're like, "Holy shit, that's where he said, oh, sorry about your damn luck." It was like the birth of it right there. But Bill, go and show that. Look at this. This is classic. I mean, that you know, that was one of the ones left over from after, you know, the rest of those, one got broke over his head when he lost the TNA title. So look at that classic. Now, did you get was it a sealed one when you got it? Was there beer, or did you get an empty bottle?
No. He opened it and he poured it in my mouth.
Nice. Can you tell what kind of beer it was? Was it?
It was a Budweiser.
All right, he could tell.
I'm breaking.
So he hits that cues out. Well, that he says, you know, then BG comes out and he says, look, Triple X is not here. And then he used a lot of sex puns here, guys. He goes, you guys must be sexually frustrated. But if you want that, you'll get all the sex you can get. And you're going to get a lesson in group sex.
Just so, just, you know, thinking about everything that we've talked about, that we've seen on social media, that's just so wrong. And then we hear this, and it's like, oh no. I mean, we can chuckle at this, you know, because it's, you know, almost 20 years ago.
Sure.
And it's, but damn.
Okay, but they all jump in. Sports Entertainment Xtreme jumps in. They start jumping them, but they get a save, guys. They get a very classic save here, Bill. The Rock and Roll Express make the save. How about that? And they get in there. The crowd goes nuts. The crowd goes banana, as Pat Patterson says. And I mean, it's crazy to see him. I mean, at the time, I remember I popped when this happened. I was like, holy shit, like who else is going to show up here, you know, at this point? But it doesn't last long. They knock out AMW with chairs, and they join Sports Entertainment Xtreme. What the hell is happening? I love the Rock and Roll Express. Bill, I grew up watching these guys. I've seen them live. I don't know if you ever seen them live. They ever make their way on the East Coast by you?
Honestly, during their heyday, they did not. My seeing them live has been more recently because they're still going.
They're still going. That's right. Same thing. I seen them. First time I saw them was in Indiana, and I actually caught Ricky Morton's bandana.
Nice.
And I said, my girl, Nurse Nicole, watch this. And she's like, I'm a grown man, okay? And I caught the bandana. And she's like, she's so sweet that she was happy for me. But I'm thinking, like, if any woman besides her saw the reaction I had, being a total mark, catching Ricky, I'm like, this is Greensboro, 1986 is what this is. And I'm like, yes, yo, rock and roll. I'm waving it around. Got it signed at intermission. Happy as a clam. Jay, you can appreciate that, right?
I can absolutely appreciate that. Yeah. I grew up watching, of course I watched the classic Hogan era.
Yeah.
But on weekends, I'd go over to my best friend's house in the mid to late 80s, and we'd sit there Saturday mornings watching classic WCW, NWA stuff. Mm-hmm. And it was Flair. It was the Horsemen. It was Nikita Koloff. It was Dusty Rhodes. And it was the Rock and Roll Express. We always, back in the day, went absolutely batshit crazy as kids when the Rock and Roll Express came on TV. And I was watching them as they were doing their thing, and I was paying attention to probably more like what they were wearing as opposed to what they were doing in the ring, but they looked like $1 million. This is almost 20 years ago. You got to remember they're still going now, but it's not not the same. But anyways, man, they had all the freaking bandanas on. I'm telling you, they had, and it was like, I was like, oh, you know, it's just a nod to know where Swinger gets his current gimmick from. It's you know, one of them, you know, it's a beautiful thing. It really is. Side note, and Bill, I don't know if you know this. Bill, were you a Steve Carino guy at all? Like heyday Steve Carino?
Yeah, like he was more obviously later ECW. Yeah. I was obviously more early through the end, but I was really early. Yeah, I saw, and then obviously I saw him a little bit after that too. But I did see his start in ECW.
So a small little story about Steve Carino. When he was a kid in like the mid 80s, he actually entered a Rock and Roll Express like fan contest, like a lookalike fan contest for kids like dress up like him, and he won. Him and his buddy won the contest and got autographs and all that. Got to meet him, I guess. And what a trip! I remember he posted it a while ago somewhere. I saw it somewhere, and it was like him in like 1985 dressed as you know. Those things always trip me out. Like, I love stuff like that when these guys end up in the business later on.
Yeah,
it's just a trip.
Well, I'm sure he was from North Carolina. He's right in the heart of rock and roll territory, right there.
Yeah, so like it was right in the yeah. I mean, he grew up on that stuff.
Yeah.
So but no, great. Look, always a great thing to see the Rock and Roll Express. They're legends. But so everybody's kind of absorbing what just happened with the Rock and Roll turning. But we go to a match. We get Mike Sanders and Ron Killings. And this was a good match, actually. Like Mike Sanders is actually not bad. Like he's actually decent. He's a good like Steve Austin likes to call the mechanic role. You know, he kind of make it work here to there, and I like that. Killings is fantastic. Even today, you know, at 50 years old, the guy is unreal. But he's great here. Imagine him 20 years ago. So now we get a little payback. Jerry Lynn comes in. Now Flair's in there to start using the burlap sack again. Did we get any good guesses on what's in the sack besides Stacy Q? What do people say here, J-Bo? Any good guesses in the sack? What do people say about the burlap sack? Any good comments? You guys, I need you guys to really get creative on this in the chat. But
I don't know. Is it the surveillance cam footage from Checkers? I don't know.
I don't know. But it's like Jerry stops Flair from using it, and then Killings hits Jerry, thinking he's going to attack him, and then he gets caught up in the crossfire a little bit, and then he loses. You know, Sanders pins Killings, and then him and Jerry have a face-off, and it's tense. Like, it's shooty tense kind of. You know, it's like, it's got that, like, oh, shit, these two, I think they really hate each other. So it had a good little vibe to it. I like, listen, are you a Killings fan, Bill? I mean, you watched the era when he was in kind of after this, too, but... dude, I think he was always been a great performer though.
Yeah, no, he's definitely, you can see it. Like obviously him, AJ, like you could see the young talent in TNA. Obviously they had the veterans kind of like as the focus of the show, but you could see the talent that was really brewing there, which you were looking forward to see what they could do on a bigger stage as it went on.
It's incredible. Like some of these guys, like. Just that early genesis of, I mean, Jay, you're watching lots for the first time. I mean, you're seeing these guys for, you know, in early days. Well, actually, before I ask you, Dead Punk saying Ric Flair's NWA World Title, he did the same gimmick on the Indies we're talking about the burlap sack. Really? Okay, I didn't know. Interesting. But Jay, what do you think about this, man? You're seeing like Killings, AJ. Some of these names are still around today, but 20 years ago almost. What are your thoughts seeing these guys like working at this level?
It's just a great journey to watch AJ. Like I've paid a lot of attention to him over the course of the last handful of years, going from places like, you know, it's like I unfortunately so many around a certain time left TNA and they dropped all their, you know, in-ring generals, you know, Joe, Christopher Daniels, the list goes on. And I talked to I even talked about that on my channel. And then seeing AJ Styles go on to New Japan and then go to the biggest stage of them all, WWE, and then what we just learned now, wrestled Undertaker in his last match ever. And so to go full circle, to watch all that, and then to watch this and watch his journey up the ranks and talk about, I want that top title. He's so hungry and he's so talented and he's so snarky and he's the same way he is now as he was almost 20 years ago. And it's just, it's for a minute, if you just think about it, it's almost mind-blowing to put it all in perspective. And I just absolutely love it. AJ Styles was just grand before his time. He really was.
Yeah, that J-Bone, that's great. No, we're talking about Ron Killings here. Can I bring you back to reality for a second? We were just talking about Ron Killings. What are you killing me today? You were killing me today. What is happening to you, J-Bone? You know, I
thought we were talking about Styles.
Am I talking about Styles? I was talking about Ron Truth Killings. You know, I mean, are you here? Are we here, or where are we today, J-Bone? How many of those have you had today? I need to know this. Yeah, just one. I have one plus what? You know, I mean, what are we talking about here, Jay? Unbelievable, this guy. Oh, there's more cans showing up now. 2 plus 1.
No, see, this one's not open yet.
Not yet. Unbelievable. Okay, cut your video feed at this point. Goldylocks in the back with the Rock and Roll Express, and she's asking him, Bill, why did they join Russo? And I love this line. This was Ricky Morton got a little dirty here.
Oh, he did.
The line. Do you have written down, or do you want me to say it?
Well,
I'll let you.
Well, he said, I don't know if we want to go exactly, but he would just say, all the girls were real.
I'll say it, Bill. The He says, we're from a time when we had to work for our meals, and all the girls' tits were real. And I was like, holy shit. It's all right. So which I thought was funny because they later on they beep out the word tits later on.
They do, which was kind of there wasn't consistency on that.
I was like, what are we doing here? I was like, all right. Well, I guess if Ricky Morton says it, it's okay.
If Ricky Morton says it, it's
passable. Great promo though. I love that Bullet Bob storms and he goes, I can't believe you double crossed the NWA. You're wearing it on your tights. You know, you got some nerve. I trusted you guys. He goes, screw you. You get AMW later on today. So Bullet Bob's had it. The unraveling of Bullet Bob Armstrong and in these 30 episodes. Jay, you've been watching with me. This is fantastic. He went from being the wholesome legend to like losing his fucking mind. Bad shit crazy.
Bob Armstrong is trying so hard to keep, this show under control, and it's just absolutely unraveling. I want to rewind to when you were talking about Ron the Truth. You weren't talking about AJ, were you? You were talking about Ron the Truth. I was ahead of you. I was reading my notes. I am so sorry. You were talking about Mike Sanders and Truth. But during that match, Tenay dropped a little I gave a phone call to a former associate, and he's supposed to be showing up.
That's right.
And it was like, oh, what? Who is this? So, and this is why during the match, as awesome as it is to pay attention to the action, talk about the highlights, and this guy did this move and whatever. We talk about that once in a while. We don't talk about move for move. That's some other shows can do that. Sure. We don't do that. We talk about everything in the big picture. But you got to pay attention to those little nuggets of information when Tenay's like, oh, yeah, and by the way, did you know that, he'll drop those little things, especially now when everybody and their uncle is showing up and you don't know who's going to stop by in like 2 seconds. And, oh, my God, some guy just came in swinging with a kendo stick. And now this guy just, attacked. I mean, it's absolute Wild West chaos right now.
What are the crazy things at the time, though? Like watching them live, was that the unpredictable? You didn't know who was going to show up because every week someone new's coming in. And I mean,
literally.
And Bill, you got Impact Plus. You've been there for years watching. I mean, like one thing that Impact's that I get a little more, I think, celebrate even more is the amount of people who have gone through those doors is like unreal. Like, I mean, I forgot Larry Zbyszko went through these doors. I forgot Bob Backlund's been there. Like, who hasn't been there? Like, that's a pretty crazy roster to think about.
No, it's a good thing. I know some like to give the flashback a hard time,
Yeah.
but it would be nice to kind of get a little bit more of that in the flashback, like some like I know, especially lately, it's all to be about the storyline,
Right?
But definitely highlighting, well, like they were there, like there was like this person made that TNA thing that like they were there for at least a show, maybe a couple shows, maybe a month. Like it's some great stuff to see, and it definitely reminded me in this era of TNA from my time in ECW, because they did a great job of like lights going out stuff, and then like even for like one or two matches, like, oh, there's the Steiner brothers, what are they doing here?
What are
like,
they doing
stuff
here?
like
that stuff is mind-boggling. I mean, you forget more than you remember on like who the hell showed up here. It's like everybody had a stint at some point. Stopped off. And it's
they were this place to be. They were like they were the alternative at that time. Like if you weren't at the company up north, this was the place to make an impact.
Because Ring of Honor, and even though TNA was regional too, but Ring of Honor was like even more regional, indie, local. You know, TNA was putting those TV deals together. They had more backing, so this was the alternative. It truly was. They had more money to do this kind of stuff, and I thought it. And I just lived back, and like we're gonna talk about Larry Zbyszko in the next segment here. That's like, what the hell? Larry Zbyszko even showed up? Like, what the hell is going on? So let's I want to say one thing about Bullet Bob Armstrong. He is battling cancer currently, but he's refused the radiation, the chemotherapy, because he doesn't want the tension in his old age. He just wants to go out comfortably. From what I think Scott Armstrong posted, somebody posted it.
Yeah, I think so.
He's still working out at the gym every day, and he's still jacked. He's got old man muscle. So much love to Bullet Bob Armstrong, because like people forget what at early part of this company that we call Impact Wrestling today. You know, he was there for all 30. At least, I mean, we're on 30 right now. He's going to be there for a little bit. This guy had a very big part in year one for sure. So let's definitely give him some love. And I think BG Road Dogg is on Twitter. So if you want to show Bullet some love, tweet it at Road Dogg. He'll pass it on for sure. Let's keep going here though, guys. AJ Styles, he comes in the ring and he lets you know. This is a long segment. This is a pretty heavy segment. Yeah. We got a lot to break down this one. He says, I'm not with Russo. I'm not with Plum Tree. I'm not with Sports Entertainment Xtreme. I'm not with Sex. And he said something funny. He goes, I'm not with Sex with Russo. And I was like, what the hell do you mean by that? He says he's the Mac Daddy of the X Division. I'm like, okay. You couldn't get any more dorkier with that line.
They got a little bit of a pop from the crowd, though.
It did, though. I was like, they fucking pop for that. They like lost their shit. Yeah. All right. He says he wants to be world champ. So here you go. You're setting up. This is now the placement of the rise of AJ Styles. AJ Styles you see today, like is starting like even like it started early with the X-Men, but this is like main event AJ starting to come up here now. And Bill, I mean, I watched from early that we saw the rise of AJ in this company. I mean, you could even see it here. The guy just had it from day one. You know, he just had something. Jay, you're seeing it for the first time. Could you see it? As you watching it now, could you just see this kid had it like right away?
Considering how Wild West this brand was, nothing honestly would shock me or surprise me. I mean, they put it on a guy like R-Truth, and that's not a knock.
It's gutsy at the time. It really is.
It really is, considering where he came from and how I don't want to say, well, I mean, you could say, I mean, he was very talented in the ring, but just green to the industry. You know, he hadn't been around very long, but what, a couple of years max?
Yeah.
So yeah, they're using, they keep pushing the tradition in the promos, but they're obviously still putting over the younger talent.
It's true. This company's always made younger talent.
It's all over the show. Even when they bring people like groups, tag teams like the Rock and Roll Express, they're still in a sense putting over AMW. Oh man, AMW was just hot as hell in this one.
Yeah, no, it definitely was.
Great. We're getting to that, but oh my goodness.
I mean, it's always been a company that's built up young guys. It's still to this day is still doing it. And I think that's great. All right. This is where it gets heavy, guys. This is where we went a little off the rails here. I don't know how much of this is a shoot. I don't know who got yelled at in the back on this one. But Bill's already nodded his head, so he knows where this is going. Let me set it up. I'm going to pass to you, Bill. Raven comes in and he's like, "You want to be world champ? You got to talk to the guy who owns the belt." So AJ's response to this is that a syringe in your skirt there, pal, or something? I'm like, what? So, first off, you got the drug accusation off. The table.
Not the first. That's going to be in this promo.
Not the first. Is that a syringe in your skirt, you freak, or whatever you call it?
Or are you happy to see me?
You happy to see? You happy to see me?
Yeah.
Okay, I missed that. Okay. Are you happy to see me? Raven says, funny you should ask, because you look like Elton John's life partner wearing an NSYNC starter kit.
The NSYNC starter kit. That was timely.
That's very timely. I gotta say that is very timely.
That took me a second. I had to rewind that second. I'm like, NSYNC. I was like,
this is 2003, man.
And then I
looked, I was the top of the charts right here.
and then I remembered my kids and how little they were. And so if you want another time frame, we had some kind of Disney CD in the Dodge Caravan bouncing along to NSYNC, Backstreet Boys, anything popish Disney at the time, because they were just putting out kids on the chart after kids on the chart, just boom, boom, boom. And oh God, I can't even, my head's spinning just trying to remember even half of them. But yeah, that's a perfect time reference for this, is all the boy bands at this time. It was the next gen from when I was in high school back in the 80s and early 90s with the New Kids on the Block.
That's right.
Cool in the Gang and New Edition right before that, when I was really little. So yeah, it's hilarious. And you look at AJ Styles and his, what did he have? The X something, referring to the X division,
the X Styles T-shirt, the
X Styles, yes.
X Styles, yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, and then you had the headband on and the neon colors. It is like,
it was very 2003.
He looks like he could just grab the mic any second and bust out a chart topping.
It didn't end there though, Bill. As you said, there's another drug reference here. AJ tells us, he goes, "Why don't you just save yourself the trouble? Give me the belt, and you can go to the back and shoot some more heroin." And then they just face
got real fast.
I was like, wait a minute. Why are we really throwing? Like, okay, number one, this can never pass TV today. Like, no way can you just start talking about shooting drugs on TV today. Then again, it was pay-per-view though, right? I mean, it was this $10 pay-per-view, but holy shit, was that tense.
they could do whatever the hell they wanted. Legit. They didn't have to, like when we were talking to Vince Russo, cheap plug.
Yeah. About four episodes back in the channel here, guys. But anyway, go ahead.
But yeah, he's like, we didn't have to worry about what's the term he used? When you're on TV,
censorship or
no, it's right along with that. It's the rules you have to go by when you're on a network television. Standards and practices. There was no standards and practices.
No, he made a tag team called Standard and Practices in WCW. If anybody remembers that, which is the Harris Boys. Creative Control, Standard and Practices.
Oh dear God.
But no, it was weird. It's like the drug reference out there. Jeff Jarrett hits the ring, attacks them both, gets the belt, and then so all this happens, and this segment's not over. All that just went on. And then Larry Zbyszko comes out fully like dressed to work. And I'm like, okay. And he starts berating AJ Styles. Like, Bill, I felt like this was like when my dad is just like pissed off at me. And he's just like, look at you. What is this what I raised? That's what it felt like. And he says, he basically says, you remind me of me. You know, I was the same way. Let me teach you. You need guidance. And so I think the deal was, he says, well, if you lose, so no, I missed this part. Did he say if you lose, I get to manage you? And then but if you beat me, I'll get you a title shot? That's what it was at the part. Because I'm like, well, Jay, you're nodding your head. Break that down. I mixed up some of my notes on this part here.
It actually was. I mean,
I know he said if you beat me twice in 10 minutes, I'll get you a title. I'll use everything in my power to get you a title shot.
It was a 10-minute time limit managerial services match.
Yes. So interesting. I've seen all the criterias now. AJ says no, and then Larry slaps the shit out. Again, very fatherly. He just slapped the shit out of him. Accepts the challenge, and we're off. Bill, you're an East Coast guy. Larry Zbyszko's from your state. Are you a Zbyszko guy? I heard he's pretty.
I am a Zbyszko guy. I've always been a fan of Larry. Obviously, my big Larry was more when he was in WCW, like Dangerous Alliance. Larry Zbyszko.
Oh, yeah.
I was a huge fan of Dangerous Alliance. Larry Zbyszko at the old Civic Center in Philly, and I'll tell you what, I was impressed by Larry in this match.
Yeah, tell me about that.
Like, he went. Yeah. It was kind of like going through like the highlight reel of Larry Zbyszko in that.
Sure.
Like kind of like all the stuff you know him for, he did them all in that match. Like he did them all, and he did them all quick, and he did them clean. And obviously working with AJ helped, I'm sure. But it was good to see, because that's probably getting near the end of like a good showing from Larry Zbyszko there. So that was nice to see.
That was really good, man. Jay, you a Larry Zbyszko guy? Because I loved him in WCW too. I thought Dangerous Alliance stuff, and then the commentary stuff about 5-6 years later. When he jumped on the commentary, he was great then too. He was still very over. The crowd used to chant Larry, Larry at the top of every show.
Living legend,
man.
He was huge in the AWA in the Midwest.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's a lot of respect for guys like him and Kurt Hennig, and guys that really made the Midwest pop back in the 70s and 80s. The Crushers, probably one of the biggest ones. Baron von Raschke,
AWA guys, man. Yeah.
So yeah, there's a lot of love and respect for guys like him. And you look at this match, and it was slow, it was methodical, it was limb work, and I pop big for limb work, just classic wrestling. They slow it down, they focus on a body part.
Old school, man.
And it's just, oh man, I love that shit. It's like, no, man, it's just, some people want oh my God, he just jumped off of this and did the triple Lindy, Rodney Dangerfield, off the diving board move or what, the crazy shit. And I love it all, but I love it when they just slow it down. And oh my God, did you see what he just broke his damn leg in the middle of the ring?
Yeah.
And then they drag him over to the rope, and then they use the rope, and then they stomp on him, and it's just the old school stuff like that. And the selling, it's classic.
No, I dig it. It was great. AJ gets the first pin around 6 minutes. Plumtree gets involved. Now, he said, I'm not with Plumtree. Plumtree gets involved. This guy, he's like the ex-girlfriend and won't go away, man. Like, this guy will just not leave. Larry decks him straight up, shoot deck in the face. Like, there was no pulling that punch. He gets on the air, and Larry just knocks him out. Crowd goes bananas on that. 10-minute time limit hits, only one pin by AJ in there. So, doesn't get the second pin. Larry is now his manager, and Plumtree loses his shit. He's just like, what did you do? What have you done? I'm like, oh, shit. I still think, Bill, I like Mortimer Plumtree. I thought he was a great character. I know he had heat, and he just never got the rebound off the heat he had in real life. Last I heard, he's doing some stuff backstage. He's an actor in Minnesota. He's one of the Minneapolis guys. In Minnesota somewhere. He's doing some backstage production work for some of the indies out there, but that's it. He's like not really on camera. I feel like this guy's a missed boat, man. Like guy he had something. He in a day of managers, that guy is one of them. He's just very forgotten though. Very, very forgotten.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of the manager valet, which is very wrestling I grew up with that's not really around anymore for the most part. But I think with a lot, like with like Sonny and a couple other performers, Mortimer also very hit and miss depending on stuff. Like some stuff's great for Mortimer and other stuff's like, so I can see kind of where it went, but but he definitely showed he had ability to be that role. It just wasn't consistent, just like everything else.
Right. Exactly. Managers it's a tough job to do it in a day and age when it's not widely out there. There's some good ones out there now. They're starting to come around. One guy, I swear to God, I wish would have had an Impact run. And Bill, you might know he's definitely made some presence on the East Coast too for a while. Truth Martini.
Oh yeah, it was big. Him always running around the ring like. It's always great. Holding the book of truth.
Yeah. He's a guy who's staple here. I mean, he's good buddies with Danny Daniels. Like I know Truth pretty well here. And but God, that's a guy I think, man, if he had an Impact platform, I know he does some explosion matches. He was early on when he was wrestling still. He's on the app. He's definitely done some explosion back in the day. But man, that's a guy I'm like, man, in his heyday, and like Truth Martini with the hair and the top hat. That guy would have been fantastic at Impact because a platform like Impact would have been perfect for him. And I think around this time, I mean, or even today, I think he could pull it off. I just one of those dudes where I just wish he had a shot.
Yeah, he's a character. He's a character as a manager, like with like the Sinister Minister, Father James. Like
he's
that would be a great fit. In
perfect.
TNA during that time.
Perfect.
Oh yeah.
Hey, it could be a great fit today. I take Truth today.
I'll take Truth today, man. But we'll see. There's some talk about him possibly popping back up once things ease up. So, well, hopefully. I know he's still training. He's still got a training school in Michigan. So he's still doing training at House of Truth training school. I mean, he's interested. Anyone's interested, we always refer people when they ask AEW, where do we go to train? We always say the House of Truth. It's definitely, it's in Michigan. It's a great school, though. Just throw a little plug in there.
Good. It's good with everything going on to hear about some of the good schools because I know there's obviously some ones that people need some new schools. So
he's a good one. He's one of the ones we trust, and he's part of the AEW family too. So we trust him. For anybody listening, if you're looking for a school, Truth Martini's got a great one. Goldylocks with Percy Pringle in the ring. This is great. He says he's pissed at Russo for what he did. Pissed off at you. The fat man's pissed off at you, he says. All right, guys. Now what happens here is one of the most iconic, infamous TNA moments. I remember when this happened. This was the talk for a while, and this today still it's on YouTube. It's cut out on YouTube. Like people still talk about this. Tony Schiavone shows up, shooty, very shooty, and this is one of the most famous shoots ever. And this turned into a shoot. This is legitimately turned into a shoot. There was a loose structure to this, but holy shit, because you could just see the uncomfortableness that just starts taking over on this one. Because like Jay's shot. Jay's shot just happened.
If you pay attention to all the little and I know I love bringing up all these little nuggets. If you look at the tension between Tony and Tenay when they're going off on each other, the best part is it started with Goldylocks talking to Percy Pringle.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden Tony shows up. And Percy Pringle is just like, are we coming back to me? And if you rewatch this back and just keep watching Percy Pringle in the background, before Tenay gets in the ring, he goes to the other side of the ring, and you don't see him from the front, you see him from the side and from the back. He's like this. He's like this, looking at the guys in the he's looking at Don West, and he's looking at Tenay, and he's like,
yeah,
like what happened to my segment? What's going on here? And Tony came in, and it just went complete. You think we go off on the rails on our reviews once in a while? Oh my
god,
this was seriously off the rails, and the uncomfortableness from Goldylocks.
Well, he says a great thing. He goes, "You make Pamela Paulshock look like Diane Sawyer," and he goes, "You're only here because of tits and ass." Like you seen on her face, like I'm telling you, this is one of those things. This is one of those things I think they didn't tell anybody it's happening. I think they told a few people and then they rolled with it. She's pissed. She's not having it.
She holds back nicely. I mean, she could have just ripped his balls off right there in the middle of the ring, and it
was tense. He goes in hard. I tells Percy, I've seen you're kissing Russo's ass. He gets Tenay gets his attention, and this is where all the real beef from WCW just comes right out, Bill. It gets personal. Like the crowd's like awkward. Like they're used to the out here boring. They're like, what are we doing? Like, we want wrestling. They really just started going. They're like, what the hell are we doing here? Like, is this a real fight? Like, what are you guys talking? Half things didn't know what they're talking about, right? Like truth be told, a lot of people didn't know who Pamela Paulshock was.
Yeah.
They're talking about WCW politics and stuff. People were like, what the hell are you two talking about?
But, I had if you want to fill me in on that one, I was just assuming she was like a Playboy chick. I had no clue who that was.
She was a backstage interviewer for like maybe Bill, 6 months at WCW or something?
Not long.
Yeah. Beautiful girl. Like, you could tell she was a model, just resume builder type of thing for her, not in the business.
Was she good or was she ditzy bad?
There was nothing to her. There was like,
okay.
There was just
not to just straight out insult her because I don't know her, but there's usually not a lot of gray is why I'm asking.
Yeah, she just was like she's holding a mic, nothing to her.
But I'll give it to Tony. Like he obviously had to go with her, who had such a short run. To compare to Goldylocks, like he didn't say Missy Hyatt or a bunch of other names he could have said
right
to get that point across. He went with a cup of coffee.
Yeah, basically. He takes a bunch of personal shots at Tenay, like why are you here? I'm the guy. I was there when the Rock and Roll Express won the NWA Tag Team title.
Where were you?
Where were you selling air conditioners in Las Vegas? I was there when Flair was in the caves of Harley Race. Where were you? There's some shooty stuff in there, man. But
I was shocked by that. It's like, and I know Tenay goes back to WCW, but then all of a sudden. He just referenced what you just referenced about I was here, but you were over here. It's like, I don't remember anything from Tenay before that. That's interesting that the Schiavone stuff goes way back past Tenay. I mean, we have great reverence for Tenay and his professionalism and his, how he, calls stuff in the ring and his, his charisma, but man, Tony really just it was actually I needed that because it brought a little history to the forefront so that people get caught up on, you think he's all good here, but he was doing this in this town back when I was doing this. It's like holy shit.
I mean, truth be told, remember Tony Schiavone started working for Crockett. Bill, you was at 79, maybe like right before Starrcade, before the first Starrcade.
Starrcade, for sure, yeah.
He was a young guy, and he started real young. He was there for everything. Had a year stint in the WWF, but he was a WCW NWA guy the whole time. So his thing was, but Tenay's going at him like, you were just getting by, kissing anybody's ass you needed to, Tony. Any way the wind blows and all that stuff. It got tense. Russo comes in to chill it out. But Tony's going off. You could tell there's a point where the camera cuts to Russo, and he's kind of just like he's got that look on his face, like, what the hell have we done here? Because this is a year and a half of tension that this guy's wanting to let out. And he tells Tony, join Sports Entertainment Xtreme. There's a family here. He walks off with him. It was like everybody was like, what just happened?
Well, it's really great to kind of see Percy's expressions just standing in the back, like going like, whoa.
He was shocked.
He had no clue what was going on.
He was shocked. At one point, Tony was like, here, stand next to me. I need to look thinner. I'm telling you.
Tony was firing, man. Then he told Goldie something else, holding something instead of that mic.
Oh, God, he should be holding something else instead of that mic. And you know what? Just like, Jesus, I loved Schiavone. He got a lot of heat after this, and he kind of left the business. He didn't do anything. Went to baseball until the podcast that he did with Conrad.
Yeah,
revived him, and he's the most endeared guy. He became so endeared telling the story. He's literally Bob Saget. He's like the dirty old man of wrestling. He's hilarious. podcast so successful. He's on AEW now, back on back on TV on TNT. And he's great. I always loved him. I was always a Tony Schiavone guy, and people were always up and down with him. I always loved him. I'm happy for him at his success. I think he's a great commentator, and he's been there forever. So, awesome. But this. I remember just going back and we watched. We rewound this, guys. Me and Dave rewound this like twice that night. We're like, we gotta watch that again. What the hell just happened here? So I've watched this several times over the years, and it's still to this day like gets me every time. All right, let's go. We're always getting the wrap up here, guys. A couple more segments here. All right, so we got a tag team match, mixed tag. Siaki and Desire taking on Kid, Kash, and Trinity. So the Kid, Kash, Trinity union started pretty recently, a couple weeks ago. Not a bad match. My beef with this though, guys, came where the Athena comes in. Right? You catch this, Jay? Well, go ahead. You set up. This got me. I was like, wait a minute. Go ahead, set it up. Go ahead. I'll let you tell this part.
You could tell that when God bless the women for what they were doing back then, because some were really good in-ring talents and some weren't. Mm-hmm. But whenever they were involved, it truly was the Wild Wild West. They kind of threw rules out the window, as you can see here. Yeah. It was a good back and forth match for a while. Desire, it just I cringe. I cringe when she gets in a ring because she looks like she's got all this fire, and it fizzles in about 2 seconds. Like line, it's like
it looks great.
Like, what am I supposed to do? The Trinity really carried everything through. But then Athena shows up, interferes in the match, and while she's doing this stuff to Desire, I'm looking at the ref behind him, just staring at him
staring at him. I'm like, what are you doing?
No, he doesn't walk up to Athena. He doesn't try to break it up. Like, hey, stop. We're going to DQ you. You can't do nothing. He's just...
No. And she cheats. Bill, she cheats right in front, and he counts to 3. Like, what just happened here? So, little Andrew Thomas was not in the right place at the right time there. Kind of wacky. Whatever happened to Athena? Do we know what happened to her? Anybody? Bill, you hear what happened to Athena? Any word?
I've never heard what happened to Athena. Like, some of them popped up. Like, I know, like they showed up like later. Like Trinity showed up later. Yeah. But Athena, I don't know. But I will give credit to Desire. She did a suplex in this match. That
the stall suplex, yes.
Yeah, the stall suplex. When she went up for it, I was worried. She pulled it off.
She definitely pulled it off. She was beautiful. She was a beautiful girl. She just, definitely not cut out for the long term in the business, I will say.
No, like as a valet, but yeah, don't get in the ring too much.
Yeah.
That's asking too much.
Yeah, she looked good doing it at least. But Schiavone comes back out. He definitely, Bell's Boys point out, he's wearing like a Kiss t-shirt and a loud-ass Hawaiian
forever. 20 years ago.
20 years ago. And then the next one's, they're still going, right? I went to that tour.
I had this one and the one before it when they got back together. It was like 96 or 97.
Psycho Circus,
I saw him twice in Wisconsin. We were front row balcony, Bradley Center 96, and then they did the Lost Cities tour, which was the second leg of the reunion tour going into 97. And we drove from Milwaukee out to Madison, and we had third row seats right in front of Gene Simmons.
Nice.
And I was going out of my mind. I was never that big of a Kiss fan. I always loved the glam stuff more than the makeup stuff, but I loved this. I was so into it. I had so much heat from my, at that time, girl, let's see, this is 96, girlfriend. She was not my wife yet, my first wife. PTSD's coming back. Fuck.
Poor guy. You had heat for going to the show?
No, because they had fog. You know how the pyro, the fog, the lasers, the fire, the boom bang pow of Kiss. They had so much fog that rolled off the stage. It put my girlfriend at the time into an asthma attack. She disappeared.
Oh, for God's sake.
And I stayed until the end of the show. Didn't go check on her. Was just like,
You really are a bastard.
hope you're okay.
Rock and roll
All night and party every day. My girlfriend's having an asthma attack. Oh fuck, who cares? Da-na-na-na-na-na.
Big surprise, this marriage did not work out. BJ Bone, what the hell are you thinking? Oh my God. No, great tour. I went to that tour.
I learned throughout the years that, you know, to be more tender at certain times. When those times come, I've gotten much better at that. Ask Tracy. She could tell you. I've gotten much better at that.
Bill, you a Kiss guy?
I like Kiss. I like Kiss. I'm probably not as I went to one show. I did go to one of their tours back in, I don't know, maybe 10 years ago. I'm not sure what tour it was, but I'm not like our boy Vince, Uncle Vince. He's Mr. Kiss.
Yeah. He loves Kiss. I think he went to the Alive, the taping that for the Alive album or something back in the day. So he goes back with them. So
is he on the album cover?
No, he's not. Those two girls
I was
are.
gonna say.
I'll never forget those two girls wearing the makeup on the back of the album. No, I remember that. So Kash and Trinity get the win on this one after the blatant Athena cheat. But Schiavone comes out and he grabs a microphone and he goes, today when you're done with your cliches and your inseguris and hurricane, he goes, I'm going to do your job for you. And he gets in the ring to do Tony Schiavone interview, and he interviews Siaki and Desire. Siaki's a little confused, like, what the hell is going on here? But he talks about his match against Red. Red's got a title shot, and Siaki's about to go into it, and Konnan attacks him. Starts beating the shit out of Siaki with the kendo stick.
This is like the third time, isn't it?
Third time Konnan's made a run in the last couple of weeks. He gets out of the ring and he yells at Tenay. I wrote in my notes here. He basically goes, "You want an interview? I'll give you an interview. God damn it, Tenay!" And he goes, "Fuck you!" And I'm like, I wrote in big capital letters, "Why does everybody hate Tenay today?" Like,
as they said, Tenay's the problem. Tenay's the problem.
Everybody's on his ass today. So we're getting the interview with Konnan. So Jay, it's been out 3 appearances, I want to say, of Konnan, where he's made attacks and he's always told Tenay, "You know what it's about." So Tenay's got the answers. We're going to find out
next week.
Goldylocks in the back with Jeff Jarrett. He just says he has a game plan, so he's ready to go. AMW taking on the Rock and Roll Express. This was, talk about a torch pass in a way. Again, another one that should get talked about in TNA history. This is a pretty epic moment. Like, the first star-built TNA tag team was AMW, and the Rock and Roll Express. They're fucking NWA gods in the tag team division, and this was a torch pass. I mean, watching it now, Bill, you kind of get that feel, like that nostalgia feeling. It's like, that's pretty fucking cool.
Definitely. Yeah. When you think NWA tag teams, they're right near the top of the list. If not the top, they're right near it. So having them come in to kind of get have that that match with them, that really. Obviously, we see what happens in this match, but giving them the rub in a way, that's definitely something you see there. But probably there you were just so like, oh, it's the Rock and Roll Express. You really weren't thinking of that. Yeah. But now looking back at it, for sure you see it.
One of my biggest regrets is I never got to see AMW as a team. I never got to see them live because by the time TNA started touring, they were already done.
Yeah, they were already done then.
Did you? Now, Chris Harris showed up to a house show not too long ago. Were you at that show? I want to say this was in before. It was one of those weekend stretches before the pay-per-views. I don't know which one it was though.
Yeah, I don't know if was it Atlanta or was the one before Atlanta?
The one before Atlanta, I want to say it was that one because he took a picture with the North.
Yeah, because that would have been Vegas unless he. Oh no, you know what it was? Was it that weekend stint they did, the Kentucky shows?
Yes. That was it.
I wasn't at the Kentucky show, so that's why.
Because he showed up to those J-Bones. You know about that?
That's where it was. Harris. That's why I didn't see him.
No.
Chris Harris, he lives in like he lives in like the Ohio Valley area, I believe, somewhere in Ohio. And he showed up. He was sitting with his kids, I think. He was in the crowd. And the North took a picture with him. And those guys love AMW. Like they're
one I saw. Yes, I saw.
So Ethan Page took a shot. It was like, he's like, I got the endorsement from Chris fucking Harris. And I was like, all right, bring James Storm in. Let's get one more out of these guys and they call it a day. Can we get one more in? Just one.
Just one.
Yeah.
Just one. I don't even care if Harris does like one move, but like I want to hear Guilty coming down the ring aisle one more time. That song still kicks ass to this day. It hasn't debuted on these shows yet. We're on.
Nah.
They still haven't gotten there yet. Great theme song. But these guys are just an incredible tag team. AMW, I want them celebrated more. Like, we're doing flashbacks, guys. Like, I mean, honestly, if Impact's listening, guys, celebrate this team more, in Impact for N60, something where these guys don't let this be forgotten, because this was the first tag team Impact really built. Honestly, from the early days, this was the first one that you guys really made your own. And Bill, you remember, TNA was known as a tag team territory for a long time.
Oh, for sure. The amount of teams they developed over the years is something. Like, it not even that long ago. Obviously, still today, you got some great tag teams, but like you just saw, like in tag team wrestling, that was at a point where you could say the other promotions really weren't. The other big promotion wasn't really focused on tag team wrestling at all.
They weren't.
So they featured tag team wrestling, which is great to see. That's a whole separate thing, tag team wrestling.
For a long time, it was like during those, especially around like 07, 08, 09, 10. People were calling Impact. They were like, this is the women, and like, this is the only promotion that focuses on women in tag teams, because nobody was at the time. Like, nobody gave a shit to women in tag teams at the time. They were the only company putting emphasis on that. And to this day, they do.
It was a rough start the first few years with women, because it was still just coming out of the Attitude Era, and so they were literally still doing TNA, that whole thing with the women. But it gradually turned into, no, we got to be more legit. We got to compete, and they went full force, and they really, made fans proud of what they were putting out. And I've been saying this over the last few years, that TNA going into Impact Wrestling and what they are now, they've always put tag team wrestling on the forefront of their brand. And we're talking about it week after week after week, even though it was the Wild Wild West and you don't know who's going to show up. This tag team match between the Rock and Roll Express and AMW, even though Rock and Roll Express wins here, unfortunately, it was so weird, because they were heels. It was like you could tell that the crowd wanted to cheer them, but they were, oh no, boo, boo, but they still, they loved their AMW. I mean, there were certain people in this roster that they went batshit crazy for. Watch those ladies in the front row, and you know exactly what I'm talking about. AJ Styles could take a dump in the middle of the ring. Those ladies would lose their mind and be like, yeah, he just took a shit. They love him. They love him.
You don't get that too much nowadays. You get the guys in the ring. You don't get too much of the ladies going nuts in the ring anymore, or in the crowd. But this is a great match. I love it.
Down south, you got to remember, they're a little more woo.
Southern wrestling, man. Bill and I were at homecoming in the Asylum, and even though it's a new era, but Bill, tell me if I'm crazy. It still had this kind of. There were still those locals who came back to see it one more time, and it had
definitely.
It had that wildness.
Man.
Yeah,
there's certain venues where you can kind of feel that. It's maybe because it's a building's older, it's dingier, things don't work as well, but it gives off a presence. Like, the building is part of the show, and the Asylum's definitely one of them. Like, there's a handful I've probably been to, like, in the country, and that was definitely one of them for sure.
Absolutely. It had a great vibe to it, man. In that sense, it had a really cool vibe. So I think they just tore it down too, right? Last weekend. I think there was the official.
Yeah, they're in the process of doing it.
Sad story, man. Sad. We got to go one. At least we got to go once. I'm happy. Rock and Roll Express wins with some by a cheek. Triple X does show up. Elix Skipper gets in there, attacks him with the belt. R&R wins. But then the New Church comes out. And what am I crazy? Was this kind of a face turn, Jay? This was crowds cheering them. They're attacking Sports Entertainment Xtreme, and they're kind of taking in the fanfare a little bit. I'm evil.
Yeah.
The crowd was turning them anyway. You know,
the crowd surprisingly got behind these guys because this was one of the most hated tag teams from day one, and it went through some changes. Like this guy went with this guy, and then within the last what was it, month to 2 months, it was Slash and Brian Lee is what it is now, and no Malice. And unfortunately, we know what happened to Malice later this year.
I think a week from now, I think a week from this episode we just watched, I think he passes. Like around this time.
I was just thinking about that when I was watching this segment. I'm like, man, I got to look that up. So if anybody wants to look that up, I just want to quick address this.
It's later this year, Jay. It's later in 03. It's at the end of 03. So Henning passes later on in a couple weeks here.
Yeah, Henning soon, and
Malice is at the end of 03 though.
And Animal. Not Animal.
Hawk.
Excuse me. Hawk. Screw up my Road Warriors. Hawk is around the same time as Malice. I want to address the comment here.
Yes.
It says, does anyone know what happened to the Spanish announce team?
We
just
do.
had them on here a handful of weeks ago for an interview, and they're getting back in shape. They're, as soon as everything opens up, and it's folks, it's going to be a while. We were crossing our fingers for something soon, but I think it's going to be quite a while.
Yeah, they were on the show, guys. A full interview with them is on the channel. Go back about 4 weeks, Jay. I want to say 4 weeks.
4 or 5 weeks. Yeah, we had them. We wanted 2. We got 3.
We got 3. Got the newest one too. All their Twitter accounts are in their guys. Follow them. They're back around. So if you need the SATs, they're around here. They're definitely alive. But go ahead. You had something else to say?
Oh no, that's it.
Okay.
No, we were talking about tag teams, and I saw the question in the chat, and I just wanted to address it because we knew what was going on.
Yeah. All right, guys. Final segment of the night. We're in the back. Schiavone's with Russo and Raven, and they're demanding a title shot for Raven. And he's saying, "I'll do it anywhere. Wherever you want." Jeff Jarrett bursts through the door, attacks Raven, starts beating him down. After Raven said he wanted it now. So he's going at him. They brawl all the way into the ring. They're fighting. Raven gets the advantage, but then puts Raven through the table. Like they were about to put him through a table. He puts Raven through a table, stands tall, calls in Russo. It's like, all right, you come get in here. And then AJ Styles attacks him from behind, gives Jarrett the stroke, and then he takes the belt. So that's it. So like we got the belt's hot potato, Bill. Like they're all trading the belt around. But I do like this. One thing I got to say, I think Impact's always been good at this too. A couple years they faded on us a little bit, but making the title feel like the most important thing in the game at that point. Like everybody wanted a piece of this thing. And I think to this day they do that too. Like they have a great, everybody. There's always, I was saying this about Impact. And Bill, you can definitely attest to this because you watch it as close as we do here. At any given time at Impact, from back then to today, there's always at least 3 to 5 contenders ready to go. And you can plug in 3 to 5 guys at any time that go into that title shot, that title picture. Always. Like they've always had it, or like they've ramped up enough people all the time where it's like, you know what? Elgin's out now with this whole thing. Well, you know what? Moose can go into that main event now. You could put in several people can just fit right into that because you've just
they do a great job of an extended main event level talent, which is great because you can always intermix. You don't get the same feuds over and over, so you're able to intersperse a bunch of different guys, or women,
or women at this point, or women too. But they've done a great job. Like there's Jay, like they've always got people ready to go. Anybody can just be thrown into this because like. There's always 5 people, I would say, at Impact who are just ready to be in the main event at any time. And I think it even proved it here, too. AJ was good to go. You could have thrown him into it.
Oh,
Raven's heated up at this point. You could have thrown Jerry Lynn in, would have believed. I think Ron Killings was ready to go. All these guys are ready at all times.
I think everybody's 90-day clause now, don't quote me on this, but I'm pretty sure the 90-day clause thing expires on the day of the go-home show. So that go-home show might be absolutely explosive. I don't think anybody's going to necessarily show up. That's all been taped. But they certainly could put in an outside promo and or announce a surprise for the pay-per-view. I think at this point, with all the negativity going on, I'm going to guess that's what's going to happen.
Well, I'm saying in general, even without those guys, you got people ready back in 03.
Absolutely.
Are you ready now that they can just plug them in? You know, is what I'm saying. Impact's always done a great job at it.
Yes.
That's what I'm saying. So, like, that's why at this time when AJ took the belt at the end, I was like, it didn't strike me as like, what the hell is, it's too soon for him. No, he was ready. I think he was, I believe it. Put him into that title picture. I'm good with it.
Yeah, it feels really like a lot like Ace Austin right now. Like he was done with, he even says it, I'm done with the X Division.
So perfect. Perfect analogy. And we talked about this, how it has that vibe to it. Ace is like another AJ in a way. Like his trajectory has been that. And he's this young kid, 22 years old, who's got a lot of talent. Like this kid's ready, quick. And the company's behind him, and it's like, he's got that vibe. It's a great comparison, man. I think I'm seeing that now. So it's a nice little mirror, 03 to 20. It's like, holy shit. If we're seeing Ace Austin in that AJ Styles role, and who knows what could happen. People thought AJ Styles was too young at the time. But if Ace Austin walks out of Slammiversary with the belt, is anybody going to gawk at it? I'm like, he's built up enough for me. I'm like, I'd believe it at this point. I'll take it. It's actually not a bad deal. The kid's doing a good job. Mm-hmm. And same with AJ at the time. So that was it, though. Like we went off the air. AJ had the belt, stood tall. I mean, it was a action-packed episode. I got a total of 18 segments written down.
Yeah, it was heavy segments.
Imagine writing that script. That's a lot of writing. There's a lot going on to
we're going off air. Stop Russo. Stop him.
Telling you, man. The guy, I gotta say that he keeps you interested. There's something going on at all times. One of the best things about Russo, I gotta say, he found a way to involve everybody. Everybody was involved in some capacity. If you're in the building, you're on something. Like you're getting on something. And I like that everybody got work, and one thing people do talk about, he wrote something for everybody. So it's pretty cool. Action-packed episode. Big number 30 is a big one, guys. That was a big 30 weeks in, J-Bo. We've been doing this 30 goddamn weeks. We've been doing this. That's a lot. That's a lot of weeks. So quite a bit. We're in 2003 now. The Asylum years, 03 is a big year. If anybody remembers in the chat, a lot happens in 03. A lot of people come in 03. And then 04, Bill, am I wrong? 04, they don't make it through the whole year before they end up going to Fox Sports. I believe.
Yes. I think it's sometime, halfway through 04, I think.
Summer of 04, I want to say. We'll get to it, but summer, I think, is when they end up in Fox. So it was like a summer. I remember being a summertime thing, like right before summer vacation and stuff like that.
Yeah. And I think that's where a lot of people obviously get a lot more familiar with the product once they made that change, because now you can see it on weekly TV.
Yeah. So that was it, guys. That was number 30, NWA-TNA. We'll be doing number 31 next week. We're going to be joined by another special guest, Taya's World Order. You've probably seen him on Twitter. His real name is Mark. If I gave that away, I apologize. But I was going to maybe let him do that. But Mark, I met down at Hard to Kill. He was down there with us, Bill. I met him at Hard to Kill. He was in the VIP line with you, too. So you may see him. You probably recognize him. But great dude. We talk a lot. And he'll be joining us for 31. He also is a recipient of a TNI t-shirt. So if you want to get your own little spot on this show, look at that. Bill, great call on the throwback one. Looks good on it. I like it. Looks good. But like we said, guys, if you buy a t-shirt, you're more than welcome to come onto the Throwback Show or the Impact Plus Weekly. Main show's a little crowded. We like to keep it to this one and Plus Weekly. So you guys get to choose. If you buy a shirt, you get to choose for sure. Be like Bill. Come on, Throwback. Watch, relive some old days with us. Bill, I got to say, you put us to shame with the background, though. I'm embarrassed that I don't have a British boot camp or any kind of wallpaper going on. J-Bone's got the empty wall. Jay, you had a great wall going on. You had a nice one.
I did. It's time to change it up. It's always a work in progress. I get happy with it I think my wife's she's got a bit of a OCD. It's it's starting to rub off on me. It's like I'm happy with it for a while, and then I started getting people complaining about, why do you have all those figures there? You need more TNA figures. It's well, you know what? Impact Wrestling doesn't have figures right now, so y'all need to chill. Okay.
Yeah, they'd be a little old school. I think I have a box of them upstairs. I think they're.
Yeah.
We're not at that area yet.
Yeah.
I've actually been looking at them lately online, and I'm seriously considering trying to find some cheap classic TNA. You know, those first few series. Some of those just look tremendous.
Mir Neeson, thank you for getting a shirt. If you want to come on, Mir, let us know, man. You are more than welcome to come on.
Hey, thank you, Mir.
Thank you very much. Why did Impact leave Fox Sports? I believe, well, they're asking you, Bill. Why don't you can answer that if you have the answer for this one.
Yeah, they were only on there for like 1 year. I remember that.
1 year, I want to say.
It was 1 year. And then, so that takes us, it
goes to Spike after that.
They got the better offer from Spike. Yeah, that was a huge deal. That's really where they kind of started really increasing things. I know there was the Fox name, but it was still kind of more of a regional type deal than a national platform that Spike TV gave them.
Absolutely.
That 2000 between 2005 2009 pre-Hogan was hot.
Oh yeah. 09 was an incredible year, and I think 09 was when it was just hitting that original TNA build, and then like the Hogan stuff happened, they changed direction drastically. Yeah. Some good, bad, but man, if you might have this, Bill. They actually put out a best of 2009 DVD. It was such a good year. 09,
I believe that's sitting around here somewhere.
Yeah, I'm telling you, 09, guys, was the year it all kind of gelled. And it's like everything we've done as an original company has gelled in 09. And like 10 was about to just explode. And they changed things up, and we all know what happened. But I highly recommend anybody, speaking of throwback, go check out 2009. But Jay, you got some news? We got news. We got to talk about what we kept them on. Not everybody stuck around. All you people who left, you're going to be shocked when you find out next week. But you'll hear first guys to get the news is this. Go ahead, Jay. Tell them what's going on.
So Trent sent me this earlier. This is actual footage of him celebrating in his apartment, and then he told me this news. This is Trent celebrating.
Where is this goddamn picture coming from? Where did you get the face on this? Where is that coming from?
That was good. That was very good.
I love that. Jib Jab is awesome. That's not me. That's our lovely viewers. I get all this stuff fed to me during the show, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, who sent me? Oh dear God, I have to share this.
I'm gonna get you, Zach Bonifer. I'm gonna get you one of these days, please. I know it's you. I knew you'd come. I know it's you, Zach Bonifer.
Pastamania. Tuesday, Pastamania.
He's getting me every day. I'm all pasta, by the way. Done.
Speaking of Tuesdays, Tuesdays are about to get very, very exciting for us.
Yeah.
Trent was very busy today.
I was very busy today, guys.
He was doing emails back and forth with a certain Vince Russo.
Vince Russo, the guy we was watching the show. He was on this show. And we had some communication today, Jay. And you want to spill it, or should I spill?
Go ahead, Trent. You worked very hard with this today.
All right. Well, guys, Vince Russo has made us an offer, and he has told us, I'd like to bring the main show over to the brand, the weekly show. And he goes, I want you guys to be a part of the brand. And he loves what we do. He loves the show. And he's like, look, I'll put you on the brand. So nothing's going to change. So we're going to simulcast. The idea is to simulcast next week, so we don't just leave cold here. The shows will still be posted to this channel, but we're going to go live on the brand. It's Vince Russo's brand on YouTube. Go ahead and subscribe to that. We'll broadcast there. We'll also cross-post them here. So you will still see the playlist. If you're still coming here, you'll still see it in here. We'll still post them on all the groups and everything, but he made us an offer we couldn't refuse. So he's got a hell of a following. You know, Russo's brand's got a great, huge following. They got a lot more subscribers than we do. And it's a great thing, and we're excited about it. Kyle's going to be so pissed that we announced this without him, by the way. I'm just thinking about this now. He's not happy.
He did promise if I wore a jacket to show up, so.
Okay. Yeah, it's true. That's true. Little bastard didn't show up.
So, well, we tried to get him in here for these. He was on a good roll for a while, you know. doing the throwbacks with us, and then it's nothing. So it's like, okay, well, you know what? We're gonna. I couldn't keep that tight-lipped about this.
Thank you all in the chat for all the good vibes here. But so very little is going to change. You know, very little is going to change in terms of like the show is still going to be the show. It's just where we're. So again, you're not subscribed to the Russo brand YouTube. Just go and sub there. First week though, maybe even the first two. I think we should do it maybe a couple of weeks. We should simulcast it just to make sure people know where we're going. But if you're still coming to this channel, Throwback will not change. Throwback stays here. So if you like this show will stay here. Impact Plus Weekly will stay here. Just the main show is going to go over. And again, it will be cross-posted. You're not losing out if you just want to. If you don't want to go to Russo, if you're not a Russo fan, no harm. You will still get it here. You'll still get the show here. The show itself doesn't change. Just more people are going to get to it. That's all. So more details to come. Like I said, we just talked about it today. More details to come as we get them, guys. But Bill, hopefully, thanks for being on for the announcement on that one.
Glad to be here. Congrats, guys. Well deserved.
Thank you. Hey, listen, he came on the show and he loved what we did, and he was like, "I want to bring you guys on."
He ended the interview with "Let's talk turkey," and it's like,
it was a great offer.
Okay,
yeah, it's a great offer. He's again, it's exposure for us, it's growth for us, guys. But again, Throwback doesn't change. Throwback's staying here. This channel is still staying. It's not going anywhere, guys. Don't worry.
We're still doing the Throwback. Bison's still going to put his stuff on here. We're still going to do the Impact Weekly. None of that's changing. We're not abandoning this OG channel, okay? We're going to still stick the next couple shows on here just so that people, because not everybody catches a show at the same time. Some watch it almost a week later, 2 weeks later.
Yeah.
You know, so we're going to throw the next few shows on here just for a smooth, for the next, I'd say half month to a month. We'll see how it goes.
We'll figure it all out.
And I'm sure Vince is fine with that. And look, I see some of the reactions. I understand that Vince is not everybody's cup of tea, but if Vince is not your cup of tea, that's fine. We just ask that you come along with us for the ride. Okay. It's not like Vince isn't going to be on every show. Okay. I'm sure we'll bring him in once in a while because he will be on his brand. But he was very gracious to us. And, I know I've said this before. I'll say it again. I've been doing this for 7 years, and I shed a tear today for happiness. I never thought that even after being with these guys, the Total Nonstop Impact podcast, and then for a year, and we've been separated from the lounge for 3 months?
Just about March, the quarantine time, around the quarantine time, and
had no clue. Our growth has been great on this channel. We thank everyone for either coming over or you're joining here for the first time, depending on where you saw or heard the podcast first. I had no clue this was going to happen to us, and I'm so happy.
It's growth, man. J-Bone, keep it together. We're in public.
No, I'm good. I'm just happy. I'm very proud. I'm very proud of us.
Listen, thank you, Bill. Listen, it's a big deal. We left the lounge that had thousands of subscribers. BQ, it was the first TNA news and podcast channel ever. He was the first guy to do it. Dedicated to TNA. We were fortunate enough to build an audience that included many of you guys there. And we left it to take a chance on ourselves. And this is part of that chance. Part of that chance is getting heard. And this was one of the things that we're doing. Twitch will stay the same. T. Hughes. Twitch, nothing else has changed. We're still going to broadcast to our Twitch, our Facebook, just the YouTube, just for the main show only. Everything else stays on our stuff.
Yeah,
don't worry about it.
It's just getting our faces in front of a different audience and more people. So we hope they come along for the ride. Trust me, I was intimidated. I was a little spooked when I joined these guys, because it's like, okay, now you're putting a lot of coin and a lot of effort into a brand, and I love Impact Wrestling, but it's been great. This past year has been tremendous. Now this is another step for us. So,
So yeah, we took a chance, and the chance paid off, and at least we'll get more exposure. That's a good thing. So again, guys, remember, nothing else has changed. Twitter broadcast, Twitch, Facebook, it all stays the same. If you're watching on those channels, it's just the YouTube. We're just giving them on YouTube, and then we'll talk more as it goes on. But just the way, hey, listen, he's got 32.5 thousand subscribers, on his channel. That's a lot more ears for us, So a lot more ears for you guys too to see. So join. I hope you join us. But next couple of weeks we'll be right here. Don't change. So more details as we get them. Miller, we know Andre. We'll talk to him. Don't worry about it. Listen, it's a whole different world with us. We're dealing with it in a different way. Don't worry about it. Well, we appreciate the concern. We'll take care of it though.
Don't even get me started on Andre. I'm not. No.
But all right. Well, anyway, that's the news. We'll announce it again on Plus Weekly this Sunday, and then we'll talk more on Tuesday, guys. Bill, thank you for joining us, man. Thank you very much for being here.
No problem. Thank you. It's a
pleasure,
pleasure, guys.
Besides the front row, where can they connect with you? Where can they find you?
They can connect with me. My name at William, another M, Gardner, Gardner. That's on Twitter, Instagram.
There you go, guys. Connect with Bill. If you're in the I just put it in the chat too. If you guys want to get it, is that it? Right, William with another M,
yep.
And Gardner. Yep,
that's correct.
That's Twitter and Instagram, guys. Get it on there and connect with Bill. But listen. If you're ever at a show, go say hello to the man. He welcomes everybody with open arms.
Yes. One big family at the show. One big family.
How are you holding up without a show right now? I mean, you're always at a show and traveling.
It is tough. I will admit though. Last weekend I went to Jersey for a drive-in wrestling show.
Did you go to that? I meant to ask you about that. Yeah.
Well, that was a smaller one. Then there's like a deathmatch drive-in show this Saturday.
Okay.
And then I actually just got tickets for Jersey in July. Only 40 people. They're going to go indoors, spaced out, following state guidelines. So we'll see.
Yeah, we're talking about that here in Chicago too. We'll hopefully get back. Now, Alicia's going to be at the one you're going to Saturday. So if you run into her, you guys.
Yeah, she'll probably see me because it was going to be just in the car, but now you can sit in this space with pull out chairs. So she'll probably see me sitting there.
Okay.
Be safe.
Safe. Masks are required. So yeah, I will be a distance away, but I'll give you the.
There you go.
All right, beautiful guys. Thank you so much for joining us again. We'll be here on Sunday, Impact Plus Weekly. Don't forget that. We'll be talking Explosion. I don't know Explosion. I know they had to bump the Deanna and Alicia match to this week's main show because they had to cut stuff out. I don't know if Explosion is going to be replaced with something. We'll find out. Either way, open forum shows we always do. And then next week we'll be doing.
We'll catch up on all the controversy going on in the last 24 to 48 hours. Trust me. We didn't talk about it much on here. Yeah, I know you guys were filling us in on the. There's a lot of good news and bad news. There's been some other stuff that I've seen in the chat. We'll cover it all.
Yeah, there's stuff going. Wrestling's a really crazy world right now. But thank you guys all for the good wishes. We appreciate that. Hopefully you come along with us. But again, next couple of weeks, keep it right here. We'll be here. No problem. Get your t-shirts, guys. ProWrestlingTees.com/Total Nonstop Impact. You can connect with us at. There you go. Bill's rocking. Look at that. It looks great. It looks fantastic. Bill, you want to be a model maybe? Once all the front row stuff's over, we'll talk. But guys, all social media, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, we talk Impact. Type in Total Nonstop Impact. It comes right up. Audio listeners, you can take the show on the go with you. That's all going to stay the same too, guys. All the audio stays the same. Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, SoundCloud, Google Play, iHeartRadio, TuneIn Radio, Spotify. You name it, we're on it. Rate, review, subscribe. Tell a friend. Tell somebody. Tell somebody to check it out. It's the number one Impact Wrestling podcast in the world today. And then, so yeah, it was TNA throwbacks, open forum. We read comments. J-Mo, what don't we do, man? Come on.
We don't model underwear live.
No, we don't call your moms for you. You got to do that on your own. You got to call your mothers. Everybody, don't forget to call your parents. Say hello.
Jiminy Christmas.
Exactly. All right, guys. J-Bone, cue the video. We're gonna let these people go, guys. Thanks for hanging out with us. TNA number 30. Next week, number 31. Ty's World Order is going to join us as a special guest in the seat. Are we talking number 31? Get your Impact Plus 30-day trial if you don't have it, or $8 a month. Come on, it's $8. 2 Starbucks drinks. For God's sake, you can get it. Or just do what Eric DeHoff did. He got it for a month, and he watched like 100 episodes in a month. It was mind-blowing. But, all right, Jay, get the video, guys. Thank you very much for joining us. Bill, you're the man. Thank you so much. Hang out here for a second.
Thank you so much.
We'll end the show, and we'll say goodbye to you off air, too. All right, guys, have a great night. Have a great weekend. We'll talk to you in a few days on the Plus Weekly. Good night, everybody.
This is the good stuff.
Find me the name of this garbage show again that I'm on.
Total non-stop impact.
My name's John, capital letter E, period, Bravo, and you're listening to the Total Non-Stop Impact Podcast.
This is the real Impact Wrestling World Champion, Big Mike Michael Elgin, and you're listening to Total Nonstop Impact.
This is the jaw-jacking Tuesday Night Impact, and his mother called him son because he shines like one. Mocha Skin Manimal, Rohit Raju, and you are watching Total Non-Stop Impact.
This is Taya La Güera Loca, and you are listening to Total Nonstop Impact.
The Walking Weapon, Josh Alexander, and you're listening to Total Nonstop Impact.
We are the Rascals. And you are listening to Total
Non-stop
Impact Podcast, baby.
Woo! And what you're really listening to is Total Non-Stop Impact. Don't you dare miss a lesson. Oh, yeah.